All right. Welcome back to S.N.O.T. Today, we have a special guest, but before we introduce her, it is me, Eric, and Jesus.
Sup?
Anyway, so today, we have Briana DeCoster, and she is a cosplayer. However, she also dabbles in a couple extra things, dancing, modeling, actressing, and I think, what else? Is there anything else I missed?
No, I think you pretty much covered the basics.
There you go. All right, and how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
Not too bad. A little hot over here, but you know what?
It's a little steamy over here. It's 104.
Yeah, it's 104
Las
today.
Vegas.
I mean, I'm originally a Chi-Town girl, so I'll take the warm weather over cold weather any day. That wind chill.
Where are you located?
Where do I live here in California?
Oh, you're in California. Okay.
California, okay.
Oh, your guys' weather should be nice right now.
Oh yeah, no, I currently live in Koreatown, so it's nice and warm over here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, you got us beat then because, poof, it is warm today. But.
Yeah, crazy warm. But so there's a couple of really interesting things about you that I wanted to bring you on the show to talk about. Some of it is that, you know, some of the cosplays that you have chosen to do are real interesting. Like you've done Storm, you've done Katana from Suicide Squad, and you've also done Korra from Avatar. Out of all those, you know, what are some notable ones in your opinion that you've done?
You definitely touched on some of my all-time favorites. I mean, you know, I love doing all of those for various reasons. I did Black Canary as well. That was another one that I did. You know, so, you know, it's just any strong female character. I mean, like even me doing Lana from Archer, that was actually one of my first cosplays, which a lot of people don't even know that. It was my first one that I put together, and it was such a huge hit, I decided to bring it for Stanley's, now it's LA Comic-Con versus Kamikaze, but I brought it back, and the screams of Lana just in the hallway. You know, it's like that's the kind of stuff that as any cosplayer lives for. You want people to appreciate it as much as you appreciate the character.
And acknowledge it, right?
But yeah, no, so Lana's definitely one of my favorites. I'm also too, a lot of people know me for doing Gamora. Gamora's another favorite.
Yeah.
That one is
that one looked really good, honestly. I was like, damn, that's legit.
Thank you. That one is the most time consuming. It takes the most effort. It's definitely not easy, but it's so rewarding because there's so much love, especially now for Guardians 2.
Right.
Volume 2, so much love. And I'm doing Volume 2 this summer, so I'm really excited. And this time I actually am bringing out her weapon. So you're going to see me wielding her awesome sword there. So that's going to be a lot of fun.
Legit. Yeah, I'm looking at the picture now. And what do you use to get that green color?
So I get asked that question a lot. It's actually I use a specific brand of body makeup. It's in a lighter green color, and pretty much the process is I start from head on down. Pretty much, it's not technically full body like it would be for like She-Hulk. But because, you know, of course she has the bodysuit in Volume 1, so it's only the arms and the chest and the face that's exposed. So I usually start with the face because that's often the hardest and most time consuming, just for the details and contouring and stuff like that. But yeah, no, I apply it with basically makeup sponges, and it's, you know, water-based makeup solution. So I use a little bit of water, dabbing it on, doing that whole process. So that's why it takes almost 3 hours to do.
Wow, 3 hours. Wow, you got to wake up early.
No, the most recent one I did it at when I did do it and at a convention recently, it did take almost 3 hours, and I had to get up at about 6:30 to start the process because I was basically going to be helping out a friend at a panel, and so I needed to be there at 10. So I had to make sure I had extra time to kind of get everything together, and the makeup is only part of the process because then you got the wig, you got the outfit itself, you know, her jewelry, all of that stuff. So you got to make sure it's head to toe.
And then what about when you go eat and stuff like that? Does the makeup get on your food, or are you straight? Like it's none of that like the non-smear stuff.
No. You know, the main thing that keeps it on, because it does stay on for most days. I have it on for almost about 12 to 14 hours. I use a setting spray. Some people use setting powder. I prefer the spray. because that is what works best for me. And it's Ben Nye, which you can find like on Amazon as well. It's a really great product. Use that finishing spray. It's a matte finish, and literally I've had people where friends, I'm like, hey, and they're like, wait, don't touch me, I don't want you to, like, I'm like, no, like, I'm like, feel my skin, touch, and they're like, oh, it feels like your skin. I'm like, yeah, I know, it's not gonna come off on you. So that's often the question. People are like, will it come off on me? I'm like, no. Like, once you put that setting spray on, the only thing is that with my hands, that's the only pain in the butt is when you go to the restroom. You want to wash your hands because otherwise that's disgusting.
Right.
So
right.
I often have to, when I go to the bathroom, I wash my hands, and then I have to reapply my makeup again and use the setting spray. So I usually take my kit with me every time I go to a con.
So if you, like, since you're all green, like, it doesn't come off. Like, if you gave Princess Leia a hug, she ain't gonna turn out with the green arms around her outfit. Like,
no,
you'd be straight, right?
No, absolutely not. I can't. I don't know about other people. I just know that with me, there hasn't been a time where it's come off on other people, so I'm happy about that.
You should just mess with people and be like, no, I'm actually her. I just came to see these imposters.
No, seriously, I'm like, oh my gosh, I should totally just kind of mess with people, but I think that only works when they don't know that you're already a cosplayer. Like if I'm outside in the real world on Hollywood Boulevard, they might
you just go sit down and eat somewhere.
Yeah.
She's all chilling in a Denny's like, what's up? They're like, huh?
I think that's something I'm gonna have to do next time I'm green. I'm gonna have to do that.
So I'm telling you, like, have fun with it. Like, go to Disneyland and go ride a roller coaster. People are like, what? Like, they probably think you're part of the show. Somebody be like, hey, what are you doing on the ride? Get back to work.
Yeah, even though now they have really strict rules at Disneyland. So the only time that they actually allowed it, I believe, there were a few people, including the guy that I usually team up with, Brandon, also known as Fanboy Brandon. He actually is usually my Star-Lord. We've taken some pictures. You might see on my Instagram. And we make an awesome team, but he wanted me to go. I was moving into my new apartment, so the timing didn't work out for the release of the ride or the opening. But yeah, he was able to go dressed in full character. He just couldn't take pictures with. They didn't allow you to take pictures with people because it's like this is their thing. They hired their Gamora, their Star-Lord. So if I went any other day of the week, I probably would get kicked out and told that I can't return. But the good thing about Gamora is that you don't really recognize the person because technically I'm green, so it's not like if I took it off, if I went back, they probably wouldn't remember. They wouldn't know.
Right, exactly. Yeah, and then just don't carry your ID on you. You're good.
Yeah, exactly. or just have my fake one, and it's just like Gamora's pictures, like Gamora,
That's awesome.
Most dangerous woman in the universe. Just height 5'6", 5'7", whatever.
Yeah, for sure. So before we get it more into like just the cosplay in general and just your daily routine, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like beyond the makeup and beyond the costumes, who are you?
Again, I mentioned before, I'm originally from Chicago, born and raised. I at an early age had a passion for acting and performing. I love to dance. I would dance around the house when I was younger. So I just love anything dealing with movement. I loved old movies, so I think that's what made me want to get into acting, because of the fact that I would watch classic film actresses like Grace Kelly, Bette Davis, and I was like, I want to be like them. They were glamorous. They were so good at what they did. I just thought it was so fun to, to kind of be a different person, or, kind of live a day in the life of someone else, what would that be like? And so it's those different life experiences that you always, wonder about. And I feel like, it's the human condition, it's a really interesting line of work. And it does take, even though it seems like it's easy work, it takes a lot of training, a lot of time invested in the craft. So it was something that I definitely wanted to do. And, I kind of started out acting in high school and a part of the drama club and also a part of our dance team, and took dance classes, and that kind of carried on after high school. And I worked with various dance companies and also 2 theater companies in Chicago, like Goodman Theater, Second City, working and, just kind of getting better at, performing and building my confidence, because I was a nerdy kid, I was not necessarily like the most popular kid in school, because a lot of people, just talking about the things that I was interested in, they were like, what's that? What's Star Wars? Why do you watch that? Like, I'm like, well, Star Wars is cool. I have an R2-D2 phone. And they're like, why do you have an R2-D2 phone? That's so nerdy. And I'm like, I know. So, but I thought it was cool, so it's one of those things where it's, and I was a tomboy as well. So that definitely didn't help. But, it was just one of those things where, I just wanted to do the things that I was passionate about. And so, I continued on into adulthood. I wanted to make the move to Hollywood. I did that. It's been an ongoing process because some people it happens overnight. Others, you work to kind of make your big break. But, being out here and making that move, it was great because it allowed me to actually connect with the geek community a lot more because of the fact that there's so many different, events and conventions you can go to and kind of connect with fellow nerds. And it's great because that kind of is how I got involved in the cosplay community. Which is, pretty awesome. And I met so many people that way. And weirdly enough, it's brought about different opportunities. Even recently, I'm working with Offshoot Comics on a special Star Wars fan project, a web series where I'm the lead. And, that's going to be coming out hopefully next year, fall of next year. So yeah, definitely be on the lookout for that. But yeah, no, so you never know. It's like, you just do what you love and you connect with, other people and things happen. It's great.
Bill Gates says that's the most successful people is the ones that do what they love, So that's cool that you've even as a kid, you've held on to that because I think a lot of people let go of that. As kids, they want to try and be cool with everybody and they just, they let it go. And you've maintained it, and so I think that's awesome.
And I think it helped that I had such a supportive mom. Like my mom is also too my best friend, which a lot of people can't necessarily don't always say that. But my mom has always been just my foundation, and she's been amazing at once she realized and she's like, this acting, this performing, all of this, stuff. This is a part of you, and I would want you to follow, your dreams because she often told me how she wanted to do certain things and she kind of went the safe route, but that doesn't often guarantee you success in life. And
right.
I think that's what she always instilled in me is that, follow your passion and money and success will follow. And now at first she didn't really understand the whole cosplay idea either, but she knew that I always loved dressing up anyway for like Halloween and, whenever we had a performance at school, that we would actually walk around our high school grounds in the outfits so then people would come actually to the performance itself. So it was kind of our way of advertising. So it was something that I love to do anyway. So it was kind of like, she's like, oh, is it, it's kind of similar to that, but not. So it took her a while to kind of understand that it's an actual community and an industry now. But she's actually now she checks and she's like, oh, I see you like gained like 100 followers. That's so cool. And I'm like, thanks, Mom. She's giving me high fives all the way from Chicago. So I love it.
That's awesome.
That's awesome. That's where this next question comes in. So obviously it's something that that's turned into something a lot bigger in recent years. How do you use it as a business? How do you there's things out there like Patreon and then just mad support from your fans, but how do you as a cosplayer make it, a living out of doing this stuff?
Yeah. Well, I'm still very much a noob. I'm learning as I go because I started taking this seriously. Now it's been like about 3 years, almost 3 years now. But it was something that I always wanted to do. So when I was back in Chicago, I would see all the different interviews and the news would report on San Diego Comic-Con, and it was a dream for me to go there and to come to. When I came out here to California, I had always wanted to go to conventions. And when I started doing it and seeing that people, just go for it, I was like, my first convention was Anime Expo, and I went for it and did it. And I don't even think I realized that it was an industry until I really started attending more and meeting, big time cosplayers and seeing what they were doing as far as like what you were mentioning as far as Patreon and even being a guest and sometimes selling prints. different things like that, special videos, even their art. There's certain cosplayers who are artists, and some people just buy their art or whatever crafts that they make, which is pretty cool. So there's different things, and people like Yaya Han, where she actually has her own line of fabrics at Joann's. So it's, you know, different opportunities are, you know, are presented when you're kind of in this field, you know, and I think the opportunities are endless. I don't think that necessarily you're stuck with just Patreon. A lot of people are successful just, you know, if they're great at hosting. You know, there's a lot of nerd events, and there's some really great hosts who kind of get the party started, and you know, will bring big crowds in, and you know, for, you know, people like even NerdBot has been doing really awesome as far as having events for nerds and that are nerd friendly, and like if they do that every so often at Dave & Buster's, and I've gone to quite a few of them, and it's so much fun. So, you know, there's different things that you can do, and that's the beauty of it. And I think that that's why if anyone asked me, you know, why do I do it, I think it's because of the fact that there's so many different opportunities, and, you know, ways to stay connected with, you know, fellow nerds that, you know, why wouldn't you go for it and see what happens, you know?
Right. I have a question. So with this one's not one of the regular ones, but your first time ever dressing up, were you nervous? Like, you know what I mean? Like the first time you went, or you were just like, screw it, let's do it. Like let's just, I'm gonna dress up as the Black Canary and just have fun with it. Or were you like, I don't know, like, did I miss something? Did I, you know, like, how'd you feel?
I think, well, my first cosplay ever was Lana. I did it for a Halloween party. I only took one picture that whole night. I didn't even, you know, like that was kind of my first test. Like, let me see if I can kind of put together somewhat of a cosplay, and it's kind of a safe time to do it during Halloween.
Right, yeah, for sure.
So I did that. That was like, it was such a huge response that I was like, okay, you know, I'm gonna try it at a convention this time. So my first time cosplaying at a convention was Anime Expo 3 years ago, and I was nervous because of the fact that I heard that it was one of the big cons. But then at the same time, I was thinking, what better time, because there's so many people dressed up in cosplay, even if I fail miserably, which I hope I don't do, you know, there's enough of the great cosplayers out there that, you know, I can kind of blend in. You know, there's more people dressed up at this con, especially. So I just decided to do something, you know, kind of outside the box, and I did an older anime, which some people may or may not be familiar with, Kenichi, the Mighty's Disciple. I did a character, Shigure Kasaka, who's like a master of weapons. So that was my first cosplay at a convention. And when I got there, I was nervous. Not a lot of people knew who I was, but then I feel like that kind of took the pressure off, because it was something that I did for myself. And I think that's the key, is that you always want to have a connection to the character you cosplay, because I think that's what people appreciate most. And I think that when you start gaining a following, that's what people remember you for, is that you always stay true to who you are, even as a character. And you have like some type of backstory of how that series affected or impacted you. And I was a huge fan of the series because I connected a lot with it. And I love strong female characters, and Shigure is all of that and then some. She kicks butt. So it was fun. It was great. And I was literally, when I say I didn't know anyone, I did not know anyone. I went and I was taking photos with people, and you know, having it was kind of scary, because I would sometimes let people take my phone and take pictures of me at some of the little, they have little setups, like displays that where people can take photos in like mini worlds. Like one is a classroom, one is outer space, one looks like a Japanese garden. So I would have people take photos of me in those spaces, and then hope that they didn't run away with my phone. But luckily everyone did. So I had a lot of photos and a lot of memories, and I actually made friends when I was there, and ran into some people I didn't know who were geeks, and friends of mine, and I'm like, hey, you're a geek too, let's hang out more. And yeah, that was kind of that snowball effect after that, definitely.
See, that's awesome.
That's great. I mean, it's always good to do, you know, like you said about, you know, dressing up as someone who you might not know. It's always such a good feeling to like do what you want to do, and because you like it. Because I mean, there's a reason why these shows exist, and there's a reason why manga exists and all that. There's someone paying to like listen or read these stories. So when you find the few people who are like, oh, you know what, I know who you are, what I'm saying, that must be such a great feeling.
Yeah. And I did get that, and some people who wanted to take photos of me, and I think that made me feel good, because at first I was like, oh, nobody really knows who I am, but there were a few people who did know, and they wanted to take photos with me, and I thought that was cool. That literally, you don't have to be a professional cosplayer. You can be like literally my cosplay. It was practically a closet cosplay, because literally it was a robe, some fishnets, stockings, sandals, and like a fake samurai sword, and like my little pet on my shoulder, which was like a little furry stuffed animal that I pinned to my shoulder. So it's one of those things where you can literally do that. I've heard of some people using cardboard and tape, and you do what you can, and then you kind of, from there you kind of get better and you develop more skill, and or you even can, like for me, I do get a lot of things commissioned where I actually work with some good friends of mine who are very talented designers, and I get to kind of wear their work. I feel like I'm basically, I'm not only modeling outside of the cosplay, world, but I get to kind of model as a cosplayer and rock people's designs, and their work, they put so much effort and time into it. It's really great, and I kind of wear it with pride, because it's kind of like you're supporting your friend in a special way, and I love that.
All right, so real quick, describe the process from start to finish on what you consider the toughest outfit to make.
I think I mentioned it before. It wasn't necessarily that I made the outfit, because I actually worked with someone to get it commissioned. I work with U.Best Cosplay, and they're actually outside of the country, but I kind of got connected through through a fellow friend who worked with them, and they do really great work. And I reached out to them that I wanted to do the cosplay of Gamora. And they actually made the suit for me, so that saved me that trouble. The process, I think what took the longest, because I didn't have to necessarily put that together. I did search for her accessories and the wig. The wig, I actually, it was really important for me to find just the right shades for her hair, and something that looked almost like as if, and I often get that compliment, is that, did you dye your hair? Because they think that it's my hair, because I found a lace front wig that literally has the perfect shading where it's that transition to red. It's like brown to red. So it looks
what kind of wig is it? Is it like a certain brand or anything that the wig is, just for people out there who...
Ironically, I found it when I was visiting my parents in Chicago. I went to a local beauty supply store, and I was just looking at the wigs, because I'm like, oh, maybe I'll find like a wig that I can use for a cosplay. And I have been thinking about doing Gamora, but I was just kind of like, I don't know. There's, it's the body paint, finding the right wig, and weirdly enough, I was looking at clearance wigs, and it was literally on sale for $16. I don't know what brand of wig it was, but it was a lace front, and it was the perfect. I was like, can I try this on? So I got the wig cap, tried it on. It was like, that's when I knew, I'm like, I got to make this happen. So immediately when I bought the wig, I went back home, started asking as far as for them to make the cosplay, and then after they were like working on that, the next hardest process was, okay, so how am I going to do this body paint? Because when I say I am not as a woman, I wish I had the same skill as the people who can contour and highlights, low lights, make themselves look like J-Lo. I don't do that. So I was thinking, okay, I can barely just do normal makeup, so how am I gonna do green? So it was kind of like, I looked at YouTube tutorials and looked online for advice on like what type of body paints to use. I found a brand that works with sensitive skin, because I have very sensitive skin. I found it, ordered it, and I mentioned the setting spray, because that was recommended, and I started doing tests. So basically, while they were working on my cosplay, I'm working on my makeup and trying to figure out how to apply it correctly. I had done enough practice where I was like, okay, I think I can make this work. The day of the con, you know, I got up extra early and, you know, really worked on it. And that day for sure, it took 3 hours. Now I have it cut down to 2.5, but it took 3 hours for me to do it. At the time, I had my stylist, my hairstylist, who I usually work with. She helped to actually like kind of add a little bit more volume to the wig and fix it up and cut it to fit my face more. So she came to my house and did me a favor, a solid. And Alicia's amazing, and she's worked with me for my Lana before, so I trusted her because she knows what she's doing with hair. And yeah.
Well, what's crazy is like I'm looking at the picture on Instagram right now where you're at the Stanley's Los Angeles Comic Con.
Yeah.
And you're against the wall, and it looks like the new promo poster for the new Guardians.
Yeah.
Like where you kind of, it's like a grungy look, and it just looks so amazing. I mean, the wig really does look like your natural hair.
Yeah.
And I think, you know, the job you and your stylist did is just absolutely phenomenal.
Thank you so much. I mean, it was a team effort. And now, you know, now it's something that I cut down the time, and now I'm getting used to, you know, applying it. And but it was probably the hardest, not because I had to make necessarily the outfit, but just that process of not having that experience with body makeup or paint or any of that, and being able to do that to the point where people, you know, really, you know, complimented me the whole day. Like, it looks like your skin, like, oh my gosh, that looks like your hair. And that's such a rewarding feeling, because, you know, when you do something for the first time, you're nervous and you're not sure if it's gonna, you know, if you're gonna succeed or fail. And so, you know, that's definitely something that, you know, I would say is like one of my greatest accomplishments so far. I have a long way to go, but it's one of my top for sure.
Well, that's super great. I mean, what kind of advice would you give to people who are wanting to do something like that or aren't as confident, you know, like, you know, people can just say, oh, fuck it, just do it. But at the same time, it's a lot easier said than done. How could you encourage these people to do it, essentially?
I mean, you know, I can see why a lot of people say just do it, because it was something that I had to tell myself so many times, you know, just go for it. Like, who is, you know, it can't, nothing beats a failure but a try. And I think what I think made me want to take that step is because I saw how much fun people had and how the community is so welcoming. I feel like overall, as far as, you know, if I compare the two, the entertainment industry versus the geek and cosplay community, there's a huge difference, because with the entertainment industry, you know, a lot of emphasis is, you know, your body image, and, you know, like, you know, are you short or tall? Are you attractive? Are you fit? You know, it's like the emphasis on looking a certain way and the pressures that people feel, you know, you see that, and it's prevalent, and it's, you know, it's something that affects so many people. And you see where even actors and actresses, you know, discuss how it has such a deep impact on, you know, their mental state, because, you know, it's a lot of insecurity that happens because you're being told to lose weight, gain weight, where in the geek community, it's like you can be any ethnicity, any body type, you know, you're welcome to do it. So, you know, it's like, you know, like you're going to be welcome with open arms, and people are going to be like, dude, like, you know, I love your Spider-Man. It doesn't matter if you have a gut, like, it doesn't matter. You know, you know, have, like, you know, you don't know how to do the poses correctly. It's just the fact that you went out and did it that people appreciate. And the fact that you're a fellow fan, and you guys can talk about the same thing, and you guys actually understand what you're talking about. I think that's the beauty of it, is that diversity and that openness, where you don't necessarily get that sometimes with the entertainment industry. And I think that's why so many people are being drawn to it, because of the fact that people are having so much fun with it. And, you know, and I think that's what I think would encourage a lot of people to, you know, to try it. And I think that I've seen that, because I've had friends who didn't even know what cosplay was, and now they're literally, I got a message today because I was talking about Wonder Woman, and I had a friend who told me, Natalie, she contacted me, she's like, you know, I'm thinking of doing what you're doing in cosplaying, because after I saw Wonder Woman, I want to be like one of those ladies. I saw people of all sizes. There were ladies who were bigger too. I want to do it. And I was like, yeah, go for it, you know? And it's cool that people are kind of seeing that, you know, I like went for it, and I'm, you know, doing, you know, kind of putting myself out there, and how I was well received. And I think that it's kind of like, oh, well, if she can do it, maybe I can do it. And that's the cool part. That's
Oh, for sure. And that's like, it's so true. Like, sometimes like, you watch a movie and you see the main actor doing the thing and you're just like, man, like I would love to, I want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Like throw on an outfit and go beat up bad guys and shit. You know how many times I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to be Batman. That's it. I want to put on a suit and start kicking ass. Like that's.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I mean, it's Halloween year round, It's like,
yeah,
for
sure.
us, it's like Halloween is any other day of the week. And I think that people kind of like that we really don't care. We will walk in a big pack of 10. Everybody is from like anime or comic book series or a movie, like some type of like TV show, that's out, like Stranger Things. We're all dressed as different characters, just roll into an IHOP. And it's just like, man, these people have balls. Like they're just going for it. And I think it's the fact that we don't care because we're like, hey, we are fans of this. We're gonna represent and try to be just as cool as our favorite characters. And I think that's why people now are starting to really pay attention to the community, and it's a beautiful thing. And I think hopefully I start seeing more people cosplaying, getting into it. That would be great. Just everybody. I think that should be a new thing. That's just like every state, just like a cosplay day. That would be amazing.
We'll have one out here in Vegas coming up soon, and I'm trying to go to that one. We'll see. It'll be my first one, so we'll see what happens.
Amazing. So are you gonna cosplay? Are you gonna cosplay? What would you cosplay as?
Well, I'm a big dude, so I mean, it's gotta be something big. Like I don't know. If I did, I'm be my first one. I don't know. I'll probably just go in a t-shirt with something that I like and just experience it and just feel the vibe first. Because I mean, I'm an outgoing guy, but when you put me in a new situation, I'm pretty nervous a lot. And then after I experience it, I'm good to go. Like I gotta get it.
That's smart because I think that not everybody, like I'm a unique case where most people do not wet their first cosplay. I think it's just because of the fact that I just had always wanted to do it, that I just kind of sucked up and just was like, hey, I'm just gonna go for it, and I just tried to suck up as much courage as possible to get it done. But I think on average, most people, at least for the first day, they kind of test the waters. But I think that when they see how chill it is as far as the environment, I think, a lot of people then they're like, I think I'm going to do this. Because once you see that there's, so many different people doing it and people aren't going to look at you like you're weird. They might look at you weird if you're dressed up as a Power Ranger walking down the street like a random Monday, but at a convention, probably not.
I don't know. What for a big dude, what would you suggest? You know what I mean? Like what kind of cosplay? Obviously like the Hulk, but Hulk you got to be muscular, kind of.
I mean, that's what contouring. That's what that's.
I don't know if you can contour that out.
It's there's a lot of different things. I saw this one guy. He was awesome. I didn't get his name. I saw him do Beast.
And,
yeah, Beast is dope.
And I was impressed. And he was a bigger guy. But he did the makeup and everything, even down to like having the claws. I was like, man, it was really impressive, and that he took time with that. But it worked for him, and I was like, man, right on. That's a tougher one to do. But I like that I saw him, go for it. I was like, right on. That's a tough one.
Oh, that's cool.
Not many people would do that, but it definitely was something that I had never seen a guy who was a little bit more bigger guy do that before, and it worked. It was awesome.
Well, that's the thing too, is like there's something you feel when you see someone just doing their thing, like what I'm saying, like they don't care who's looking, they don't care whatever, they're strutting their stuff, and that's just, that kind of confidence is it infects other people,
For
like,
sure.
You see someone doing their thing, why would you talk shit,
Yeah.
But there's a lot. I mean, there's. In my head, I'm trying to think of some others for you. I mean, I've seen so many people do different characters. I mean, I've seen plenty of guys who are not necessarily like, gonna be competing for, a fitness competition anytime soon, but at the same time, they kill it as Batman. It just depends on like, how the suit fits you and getting, and putting it together. So I've seen Batman. I've seen, you know, some guys do One Punch Man and kill it. And they're
I love that one. That's an anime one. Nobody knows about that one. That's dope.
Yeah, I like that. It's dope.
You know it too?
Yeah, dude.
Oh.
We work with the voice actor at the studio all the time.
What?
Max Middleman.
Oh,
I only seen
jealous.
the one season though.
That's
Is there more
amazing.
seasons?
No, it's coming out with season 2. Waiting for it. Though.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
I love that.
I'm so excited for that one. That one was the one that I love. I actually trained in martial arts, so I was obsessed with it. I was when I heard about it, you know, people were telling me, you gotta watch One Punch Man. You're gonna love it. We know how you are, Briana, about, you know, anything dealing with martial arts. And I'm like, you know, I was like, okay, all right, okay. I was finishing up another series at the time, and so I finally got a chance to watch it. And I was like, I definitely see a future cosplay in the works. And
Sure.
that's always, whenever I watch a new thing, I'm always saying that though.
Yeah,
I
so
thought it was so funny, like when they're all doing like their exercises to see who, like what level they are and stuff. And he just like, you know, just killed it. It was just, and everybody's like, oh, you're like a level, I forget the levels, but like level whatever. He was below the robot guy, and you're like, what? Like,
yeah. Well,
so-
the thing is, like, he would just touch someone and then just appear.
it's so-
It's just so funny. And he was so
Do I
mad.
have to do this? Like these, you know, do I have to do these little tasks in order, you know?
Right.
It's like, I can punch one punch, man. Like, that's it, you know? But it's really interesting because of the fact that he's not your typical superhero. And I love stories like that. So
Right.
Yeah,
it was,
for sure.
it was great.
The other part when he's
Definitely
like, how did you become like you? He goes, well, I did 1,000 sit-ups a day or this or that. He's like, that's basic stuff, don't tell me.
100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups. Yeah.
He gets so mad at him.
I would be angry because it's when you see those people who don't have to do anything and they're just ripped and you're just like, and they're like,
Oh,
oh
for
yeah,
sure.
no, I ate a pizza, and you're just like, really?
Yeah, it's
No.
like those dudes who eat as much as they want all day, and they're like super cut, and you look at a piece of pizza and you're fat. You know?
It's like
Yeah, when I was younger,
you have
dude,
one little, like, one piece of cheese, and then it's like you already
Yeah.
gained 10 pounds, and you're like, oh,
You blow up
man.
like a wet piece of rice.
But
No.
yeah.
When I was younger, I did the martial arts and stuff. I was in way better shape, and then as I got older, you know, it's just you slow down. It's like, plugh.
Yeah, no,
But-
I mean, it's hard. It's hard too when, you know, because everybody, you know, you have a busy life. You know, when you're an adult, you gotta, you know, take care of business, and it's not the same as when you're younger. When you have, you know, that, you know, it's just school, and then after school activities or like
Yeah.
some sport or whatever. Where that's your life. Now it's like work, and if you're married, or have kids, it's like it's you know it's a lot that you have to worry about. And working out is often last on that list. I mean, I think it's just about making it a priority. But as far as fitness, it's been an important part of my life. But it's definitely, I tell people all the time.
It's definitely a lifestyle.
You know, it's a lifestyle, and it's for me. It's even difficult for me. So I feel like I'm out of shape just because I haven't been able to train in a while because I've been taking care of so much stuff recently. So you know, you have to try to make time for it. And figure out a schedule that works for you, because everybody's schedule is so different depending on you know what you do in just a day. And really, it doesn't take much. You know, it's all about, you know, making sure that you're eating the right things and putting that time in to at least get, you know, even if it's a 30-minute workout, you know, just doing it. And,
Yeah, it makes sense.
You know, it's hard.
Absolutely.
Even I'm guilty of, you know, choosing pizza on occasion over a salad or those, you know, vegetable stir fry, which I should. But, you know, it's those little things, you know, kind of making those decisions that make a difference. And, you know, that's what I'm
No,
looking
definitely.
for.
Anyways, all right. So that wraps that one up. I want to talk about, you know, you went to Wonder Woman earlier today.
Yes.
What did you think of it?
I definitely, hands down.
No.
And I know it's a big statement to make, but one of my all-time favorite superhero movies, hands down. 10 out of 10.
Is she-
Go see it. I wish I was like Ebert, and like I could, you know, people would take what I say and like just go and run to the theaters and buy the ticket. But seriously, I loved it, every part of it from beginning to end.
What was your favorite superhero movie before that?
I think of the most recent, I think I would have to say I did really, really enjoy Logan. Logan was definitely...
Yeah, Logan was good. That's actually a good
It was
one.
so good.
was.
And it got me emotional, but I think Wonder Woman really pulled at my heartstrings. And that could be because of the fact that it's such a... female empowerment,
Empowering
just
movie,
empowering movie, just girl power all the way, and that's something that obviously people see a lot in my cosplay, just in general. And what's interesting is that I used to be all about Marvel, just as in general, as far as, you know, comic books and the different movies that they produced, because, you know, like the X-Men movies, just because I'm an X-Men fan, you know, I loved each of the ones that would come out, and even the bad one, like even X-Men 1, and people have issues with that one, I enjoyed it because of the fact that I'm such a fan, and obviously I did Storm, but it was interesting to have that switch change to DC, because now, like I did Artemis recently, and I loved Young Justice so much, but then Suicide Squad came out, and I'm a huge fan of Katana. And now with Wonder Woman in this movie, because anybody who is a comic book fan, like even if you are a Marvel nut, most people will say that Wonder Woman is probably one of their favorite characters, you know, in general, because of her powers and how awesome she is. So,
who was your other than Storm? Who's your favorite X-Men?
My favorite.
Or that's your all-time favorite?
Definitely Wolverine, hands down.
Okay.
You know, because you know, his character, again, I love complex characters. You know, I know we were talking about a little bit before the show started. We were talking about the reason why Batman is such an awesome series, and you know, an awesome character, because of the fact that he has, you know, that past. You know, and Wolverine has such an interesting backstory. And you almost cheer for him because he's not your typical superhero. He's flawed, but then at the same time, you know, through all of those flaws, he's still a hero, like through and through. And I think, you know, that's why I think I definitely have a lot of love for Wolverine. Because he's such a cool dude. You know, even though he has his issues and he's often like considered like the one that has attitude problem, you still love him. You know, he's just, you know, he's amazing.
As soon as much as Wolverine and cinema and stuff, the X-Men Origins movie, the first part of that movie was just so remarkable. When Wolverine and, you know, Sabretooth were going through time, through all those wars, I thought that was like one of the best, like it was just amazing to watch, you know, because these guys are living for a very long time and they've been through some of the craziest shit to ever happen in history.
Who's your favorite X-Men?
Wolverine for sure.
Wolverine? Yeah. Mine's Gambit.
Yeah, Gambit's pretty cool. He has, that accent, man.
I named my dog at Gambit. That's his name.
Oh, really?
I got a little 7-month-old German Shepherd.
Yeah.
His name's Gambit.
That's awesome. No, it's those characters though. But I think the reason why Storm has always been number one is because I like characters too who don't get a lot of love sometimes. And I mean, she is loved, but not as much as like a Wolverine or some of the other characters. Because and really, when you think about it, she's pretty much on the same level as a Wonder Woman. Like she can control weather. Like I mean, no one can who can do that? She is beyond. She's beyond the typical like mutant powers.
She's like Mother Nature.
And Jean Grey stuff. Yeah, for
she's
sure.
a goddess. Like you know, she literally is.
Sure.
You know, along the same lines as a Wonder Woman, and I think that people don't often give her the credit that she's due.
Yeah.
And also too, I love the fact that she is a black female character. I'm mixed ethnicity myself. So to see more comic book characters that reflect different ethnicities, especially if it's like something that's a part of my culture, I definitely appreciate that. And so, you know, that's definitely my connection with Storm for sure, because of the fact that she's such a strong character and also strong black female character.
She's a protector of her village too.
She is.
She absolutely is.
And so with Wonder Woman, you know, like I would love to see a Storm movie. I don't know if it will ever be made or if it would, you know, that would happen. But I definitely think that she deserves one. But I don't know if, you know, maybe they're just not ready for that. But that's, you know, but with Wonder Woman, I think it's gonna open the door for more female characters.
Be brought
for sure. To the, you know, like be brought to the light, and you know, like, hey, let's do this. Like, let's get the green light for doing a Black Widow, to do a Storm movie, to, you know. So hopefully that happens.
Well, yeah, I mean, they just confirmed that and before Wonder Woman, Harley Quinn is such a big another female character that just has blown up, on both female and male audiences. So I mean, they confirmed a Birds of Prey movie. So that's going to be real interesting. And I feel like that's going to be like the movie to go, like Ocean's 13 and, shit like that, where it's just the guys having fun and doing whatever. That's what it's going to be, I think, for Birds of Prey. It's going to kind of...
And the reason why I don't want to touch too much on Wonder Woman, because I could go literally have, like, we could do another podcast on
the whole thing.
My comments and commentary about how great the movie was. But, I don't want to ruin it because... obviously, I want
to ask, but I'm holding back because I'm like, I don't want to ask too, because then, I don't want to, people are going to listen. I don't want to spoil it for them. And they're like, me, I don't care. Like, I'm a spoiled person. Like, I'm like, doesn't matter. Like, you're not going to surprise me. But
yeah, but
like,
some people
I know how other people are.
Watch
yeah.
A preview. It's like, don't tell me anything. But,
yeah.
But no, I think that anybody who
like
followed the comic books growing up, anybody who even maybe didn't, I think that, it's a great introduction to Diana and and
so it covers
it does
a good coverage, right?
Yeah, it's good coverage, and I like the fact that it has that strong backstory, and from beginning to end it's consistent, and I feel like everything ties together beautifully. There's even a twist in there. I'm not going to say anything more than that. But but I think people will, really appreciate how well it was done. It was directed by a woman. It's like there's actually female athletes in the film, which I think is amazing. So, and also too, different ethnicities, different sizes, like women of different, backgrounds. It's just great because there's so many different things that they, barriers that they broke through. And I think that, people of all ages should see it. For sure. I
also feel like that's what Black Panther is going to do when it comes out.
I want to see that one too.
I mean, his bodyguards, the royal protectors are all, African American females, and they're, we saw a glimpse of them in Civil War, and scary as fuck. So I can't wait for that shit to come out too. And that's going to be a majority black cast as well, which is rare. That's going to be the first black superhand fronted movie. So,
I'm waiting for my Hispanic one, though.
I'm waiting for the Hispanic one, yeah.
We don't have none, man.
Miles Morales, we got the...
I saw that.
Some people don't even remember Anya Corazon. Like, it's time to bring... And I'm part Latina as well. So, it's going to be great to kind of, hopefully, maybe you never know. That might be something on the horizon. Fingers crossed, But I think that one, for sure, mentioning Black Panther, I think that's a contender for probably best Marvel film. I definitely am anticipating that because they have some heavy hitters as far as the actors are concerned, and I know
they do. A lot of the medals that a lot of the other heroes use, and a lot of the different secrets and conspiracies of the Marvel universe start in Wakanda, Wakanda. So it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
Definitely, for sure.
But cool. I mean, so we've touched on everything. You've given us more, amazing information. Is there anything that you want to add about what you do, about how to do it, or just in general, so people who are listening they're already excited, they want to do it. What else can you add to what we've been talking about?
I think, I tell people, like, I like to tell people, again, it's a awesome community of people where you get to share, the same likes, we have the same love for the same fandom, same comic books, TV shows. Now gotten into Game of Thrones, and there's so many people who love Game of Thrones, and we could talk for hours about it, which, that's, you don't get that often, when you go to a normal party, it's like, some people may have seen something, some people may not have, but, you go to a convention or a nerd event, and it's, a lot of people who have those same interests, which is great. And, it's a great way to make new friends. You kind of network a lot of people who you might meet who are in the same field as you and you never knew. Or like people who maybe, in the office, Bob, who sat 2 cubicles down, you might see him and be like, Bob, is that you? Like, oh my God. Like, Yeah, man. And so you guys kind of look at each other the next day, like, all right, like I see you.
Did we
Mom.
just become best friends?
So,
Yeah.
I think that you'll be surprised at the crowd that you get, and I think that it's worth taking that, just taking that leap and going. Even if you go, you don't have to dress up in cosplay. Just go to a convention. There's so many different nerd events. There's actually an amazing app. Like I'm doing like a promo for them, and I don't even work for them, but it's Nerd Out app. And Nerd Out is great because of the fact that you can actually go and check what nerdy things are going on in your area. And it's so I would definitely recommend downloading that if you're just kind of looking for something smaller. If you're not the type of person for big crowds, because a lot of people are introverts sometimes, in the geek community. And if you have those insecurities, it's great to kind of like slowly get out of your shell, and the great way to do that is to slowly inch your way into the community by like going to outings and trying new things. And I think Nerd Out gives great opportunity for that, because there's different comic book events like free comic book day, different things that cosplay meet and greets where you might get a chance to meet a big time cosplayer and kind of ask them what got them into it, and kind of talk with them, and so yeah, definitely. To start, you can start small, or you can just go big, and that's what I did. I went big, or you just got go big or go home. But for those who aren't comfortable with that, Nerd Out, definitely look into it.
Well, I heard. Okay, so I got a question, because I hear you say you've mentioned it a whole bunch of times, and even called yourself a nerd. So is that like something everybody says, like, yeah, we're nerds, fuck it, like screw it, that's what it is. So let it be.
I think. I know that there's the age-old debate, the definition between geek and nerd, because I'll switch. I switch the term, but sometimes, and I'm like, I don't know, I say I'm a nerd, but then they're like, no, you're more a geek. And I'm like, well, what defines a geek? And so then you'll get back into it's funny, it's the nerd versus geek. Like some people say nerds are more of the book and facts, like masters. And then but sometimes I feel like geeks are, because if you're geeking out over a fandom like Game of Thrones, and literally like every fact there is about Cersei Lannister. I mean,
See, I thought geek was more book savvy, and nerd is more. Yeah, for sure. I kind of feel that way. But.
So I mean, I think it's just it's just embracing the fact that you're different, and you may not necessarily be oftentimes the one to kind of go to a club, but instead you like going to play Dungeons and Dragons, maybe, but there's nothing wrong with that. So I think it's just kind of being comfortable in your own skin and realizing that there's other people who are just like you, and that's something that I struggled with growing up, because of the fact that I had all of these interests that didn't match up with a lot of people around me. But I think that I came out of my shell when I realized that I'm not the only one. And I think that that's the benefit of, kind of getting involved in the community, because you realize you're not alone. You may be dealing with insecurities. You may be dealing with even some, maybe, just like that, you're, you being introverted. It's kind of almost taking its toll because of the fact that you're such a loner, or so introverted, that you even know that you try to take that step to kind of reach out to other people. And I think that but you need a safe place to do so, and that's what the community provides, I feel, and that's a beautiful thing. I think that's why I love it so much.
Yeah, that's super beautiful. I mean, that's straight from the heart. And you've successfully convinced Eric to download Nerd Out. So I mean, if they're listening to this, she is the spokesperson you need, because
for sure.
She just said the word. He was already looking it up.
I was like, let me see this. She's like, good community, Nerd Out. I was like, let me check it out.
I mean, they literally have everything. So even conventions are on there, but you can search from Irvine to Koreatown to Riverside. You will see any convention, any Dungeons and Dragons meetup, any comic book, something like if it's some author of a certain comic book, it's gonna
be in town doing a signing or something like that. Like it's on there.
You'll know.
Huh?
It's really cool.
Yeah, that's what's up. Yeah, I downloaded it. He just called me out on that. I was like,
well, I mean, it was when shit sounds fun, why not?
Yeah. I mean, it's great. I mean, why not just see? I think they even have something for speed dating for geeks, which is actually really cool. But I mean, it's not something that I've done. Now that's out of my comfort zone completely. But you know, if that's your thing, go for it.
Now I'm married.
Yeah.
Mine would just be straight up, just go hang out.
To one of those, so don't.
Yeah, no, not at all.
Don't do that. No.
No, mine will just be to hang out. No dating.
No speed dating. No geek speed dating. No.
I'm like, oh, let me check that out too. No.
No, I don't need your
call me
wife
out on
coming
it.
after me. Like, did you get my husband on nurse speed dating?
You get messages.
The link, yeah, right?
Like, no, ma'am, I'm sorry.
That's funny. She's Chinese. I told you. She knows some of that wushu. No,
That's
she
what
really
I
does.
do,
I'm not
so
joking. She
you need
actually
to
does.
watch out because the wushu women are the worst. They'll cut you, but you don't even remember. It's like rush hour. Like, girl, did you just kick me? You don't even see it. You don't see it coming. It just happens.
Which one y'all kick me? That's funny. So awesome. I think that just about covers it.
Yeah, I mean, this was an amazing conversation. Thank you so much for giving an hour and a half of your time just to talk with us and kind of open our eyes to this new world.
And you know what? I just want to speak that you have such great energy. Like, I mean, I can tell you're enthusiastic in it, and that's awesome because, coming in, we're just like, well, I don't know what to expect. Like, hopefully she's, like chill and, comfortable. Like, I was more worried about your comfort, and you just came in, you're just like, pop, boom, 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 boom. Like, I was like, oh, she's good to go.
No, I'm really excited that, that you guys felt that way. I try to be honest. This is something that's still out of my comfort zone, and I think that's why I do it. So and weirdly enough, I wouldn't be talking to you guys if you guys didn't see me cosplaying, and like it's like all of those things that why I love cosplaying so much, because it kind of introduces you to new people who you may not have met. Like, I may not have like talked to you guys ever, or maybe, or maybe we would have run into each other at some con or something eventually. But it's those opportunities to do something a little different, and kind of go for it and see what happens. And I'm glad, hopefully people like it. Hopefully you guys, when listening back on it, and I don't sound like a complete idiot, but I'm hoping that, it's at least fun. I want it to be fun and more, normal conversation versus like robotic answers, So.
Right, exactly. Nope.
No, this is completely perfect and just energetic. And I feel like if a viewer clicks on this episode, it's not going to be a bad mistake. It's gonna, if they want to learn about it, this is a great way to start. But before we get off, give us some social media links for people to follow you on Instagram, Facebook. If you want to give out shout outs to anyone who is doing the same thing you're doing, the in and out grind, so give us some stuff for people to click on.
For sure. Again, I'm Briana DeCoster. You can find me. I have my regular, normal, like actor, model, dancer Instagram and Facebook. It's at Briana, BrianaDeCoster, Briana DeCoster. My cosplay handle, I'm known as Utahime Cosplay, and that's Yahime Cosplay. And that's the one that I post definitely more material on my Utahime page. So it's a lot of fun. You can find my fan page on Facebook as well. I'm also on Twitter, and that's at Briana DeCoster. And then if you want to see and check out the web series that I will be a part of, that's going to be coming out next year, and that's Offshoot Comics. So if you look up at Offshoot Comics, I will be collaborating with them for a special Star Wars fan project. So all of you Star Wars fans out there, if you're looking for awesome cosplays and you need some commissions done, I've worked with an amazing cosplayer and designer. She's been featured on different reality shows recently, like Doll Life and Design Genius. Her name is Ginger Nichelle. Hers is at G&B Cosplay, and she's done recently, you can see her work. She did my Royal Princess Academy Pocahontas, which was an amazing hit. That was designed by my good friend Allie. Williams, which is only Alley Cat is her handle. So you can check her out as well.
Alley Cat.
Awesome.
And then of course I mentioned earlier, Nerd Out app is amazing. Definitely download it if you're interested in really fun, interesting events for nerds and fellow geeks like ourselves. Any information about conventions or cosplay meetups, even events like what NerdBot hosts at Nerd Nights, and definitely check out NerdBot, because they definitely have a lot of events too. So that's another great opportunity to meet fellow nerds in the community.
Well, shit, wonderful.
Well, thank you for your time. You've been awesome. So awesome.
Thank you so much, guys. It was a lot of fun.
All right, take care.